quick break. Just to let you guys know, the book is out. My book is out, and I'm super excited. It's called Parents Are Greatest Teachers. It's on sale on Amazon, so you can now grab your copy. Do leave me a review on Amazon, comment, DM me if you have any questions, and let's keep on sharing our stories. And now, let's go back to our episode. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Alex Valgood, and this is Leap of Health. And today is one of our another episode for the 10-part series that I'm doing, Healing Through the Path of Health. And today I'm super excited because we have Elizabeth today. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So tell us a little bit about your story and how you became on this path of healing.
Okay, so I'm Elizabeth Knittel. I am a transformational life coach. I am an intuitive healer. I'm also an esthetician and a studio owner for skincare. So my story really, my journey, I spent about 18 years struggling and battling different addictions. The first, I really started when I was 18, battling a terrible eating disorder. And it was a very ugly eating disorder. It really could have killed me several times. It wasn't anything that I just dabbled in a little bit. I was in college when it started, but it took me and just took me underneath and, just swept me up in it. And when that was going on, I also started to drink. And drinking, actually, I was a bulimic. So I would binge and purge, and it wouldn't be just like a little bit, like it was all the time and constant. And it got to the point where I couldn't stop. And that was a really scary place to be. And then it got to the point where I found out, I discovered that if I started drinking, that would sort of fill that need, like it would numb me out kind of enough to where I didn't feel that need to continue to binge and purge. So then alcohol and later alcoholism was really a huge part of my my journey. And I caught it. My parents were, able to see it. And I mean, it was really out front pretty early. A lot of people sometimes can hide it, but there was like no hiding how bad my addictions were. And I went to treatment and several times trying to get it under wraps. But it's amazing, the addiction cycle, how strong it can be and how powerful. And that I had several women that would come to me and tell me that they had struggled with bulimia and, had gotten through and saw the other side. And those were the women that really, like, the only people that I felt like could get through to me and I could actually hear, because I felt like it was such a shameful, weird place. And there was something in that connection that I really looked at them as sort of the first mentors that I had. And then when I did end up in 12-step groups, I ended up with a lot of different women mentors that had been through these struggles. And finally, I was able to, it was actually a really amazing story. I don't know how spiritual you are, but I am really, really spiritual. It all ended through spiritual awakening. But I had an insane, like, white light miracle moment when I was about I want to say 27, and it was at the very beginning of my pregnancy with my son. And during this time, it was the first time that I didn't feel like my body felt like it was for a higher purpose. And so the desire to drink left immediately. And I felt like I had to protect myself. But there was some issues at the beginning of my pregnancy with I didn't know, there was some bleeding. I didn't know if I was really pregnant or not. The, sticks as I was, the doctor there wasn't a heartbeat. And so at this time, I wasn't binging, purging all the time, but I would do it occasionally just to it gave me like the sense of relief. And I had gone and bought all this binge food, and I was in my car, and literally this white light this light just came and lit up my car. And I heard like audibly, Elizabeth, you don't have to live like this anymore. And I felt this light go through my body, and like all the way through me. And it was very warm and comforting and secure in this way that I hadn't felt before. And then went out my head, like went out the sunroof. Well, I ended up throwing away all the binge food, and the obsession of that food addiction was lifted from me. And it was just a total like quantum leap, this healing moment where I thought that I would never be free from that cycle in my brain. And suddenly the obsession was gone. So that was like my first huge healing moment. And it ended up being pregnant, and it was a great pregnancy. My son is very healthy now. He is 11, almost 12 years old. So that was really great. And then once I had tackled food, when I really realized that alcohol was also a huge problem, I sort of had that experience for sure, like in my back pocket. And I had developed a relationship with my higher power that helped to pull me out at times and get me sober. And then something would happen, and I would think like maybe I wasn't really an alcoholic, and I would drink again until so I really battled that for on and off for years, and until it was just enough was enough, and I hit a huge breaking point. And I ended up really, by surrendering and going and getting help, ended up losing everything. I lost my husband, I lost my kids, I lost my house. Like I ended up selling my minivan at the time, so to pay for the recovery center that I went to. But I knew that I needed help, that I wasn't able to do it on my own without being surrounded by people with the intention of helping. And this created a huge shift in me, because I didn't, of course, one hand, I wanted to choose sobriety and I wanted to live, but at the same time, I was suffering from the loss of feeling this like fear that I would never get them back or see them again, or like I would go to bed just in a panic and wake up the next day still breathing. And I thought, how do I get through this? How do I keep breathing through? And I learned how I was going to keep continuing to move on, and not move on like without, but to heal. That it was so important for me to heal myself, because until I healed myself, I didn't have the capabilities of helping and doing for my family or anybody else.
Mhm.
Like they say, when you get on an airplane and they're giving you the instructions that if the oxygen masks fall, put the oxygen mask on yourself first before helping anybody who would need help around you. Because if you can't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of other people around you. And it was really like in those moments that I connected to my higher power, and it was like, okay, I guess it's us. Like, I guess we're doing we're doing this, and through the Serenity Prayer and so much support from others, I really learned to find myself and my own identity and to be happy in the moments, even when I felt like I had lost everything. Um, so now I've been sober for years and I've gotten so much, my life looks different than I ever imagined it would, but
Mhm.
it's more beautiful and it's so much more. I'm just able to serve, and I continue to evolve and to heal, but now I do so much service work, and also work. All the work that I do is really some form of serving and healing others.
That's amazing. Um, I feel that a lot of the great healers, they go through their own journey themselves. It's almost like you need to, know darkness to see the light. And I mean, all of our lives, sometimes it's not all pink, sometimes it's not that great. Some people are lucky enough to do have an amazing life, but some of us do struggle as kids with whether it's addictions and or not having the support system around or just illness in general. So you know I'm glad, and happy that to see you this way. You're a businesswoman and a very successful one doing all these amazing work for a lot of people, helping and healing. So that's really really amazing. What would you say to that 27-year-old self of yours?
And just that it's all going to work out and it's all going to be okay. Um, because there were so many moments when I felt like it wasn't. And I went through actually a really dark period where I was, and I had major depression, and I got to be like suicidal depressive. And I thought that the world would be a better place without me. And I'm so grateful that I made it through that. So it was just, I didn't know how, but, and I don't think the how was for me to know, but I needed to know that it was all going to work out and that it was going to be okay, that there was a solution.
Yeah. And yeah, for sure. I felt that uh sometimes things might look horrible and that they will never end, but just for everyone out there, we all go through things, but just trusting that you will be okay, um surrounding yourself with like positive people and community that will be able to help you. That was one of the biggest part of your healing, knowing that you needed not only yourself but others. How did you reach out to people? How did that look for you at that moment?
Well, it's really no secret. My father is also in recovery. I actually just went and saw him pick up his 20-year chip. And so he is somebody that I was always able to reach out to and say, Dad, I need help. And when I was really ready to surrender, then he was always there to walk with me into spaces that I was terrified to walk into. So he's really been somebody that I've watched on this journey as well, and seen just completely transform, and seeing what doing that inner work, how much that can change a person.
Yeah. Do you
And
think
just,
going through these struggles have made you a better person?
absolutely. I think that without having it, I wouldn't be have the strength that I have. I wouldn't have the peace that I have today, because there wouldn't have been a reason for me to have. Well, I wouldn't know the dark the way that I do. And so I wouldn't be as grateful for the light the way that I am.
Do you think
Um,
it's a work in progress?
oh, yes, always. I don't think in any sort of way I have arrived. I think that I am on a journey, and thank God I'm on this side of it, but I'm 39 years old. It took a long time to get to the side of not just being healed, but continuing to heal and continuing to evolve. It's an evolution. There's no like, you have arrived, get off the plane.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that's when we move on to the next phase.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I felt that I brought up that question because I felt that some people that might be on the struggling side and still trying to figure it out uh, themselves or their path to success is that they might see people like you or like other people that have businesses and now they have a great family and they're helping people or whatever it is that success looks like. uh they might think like, oh well, they have it all figured out,
I don't think we
yeah,
ever have it all figured out.
yeah,
We're always learning. There's always an opportunity. I like to call them opportunities for growth.
yes,
But I mean, all the time I feel like I'm put in challenging situations where I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, when this is an opportunity for growth. And I know that with growth often comes growing pains. And so there's something for me to learn. There's some lesson that I'm learning while I'm growing through whatever I'm, going through.
yeah, for sure. I know you mentioned your dad as the mentor. um, have mentorship been an important part of your growth as on this path?
Then I don't know where I would be without all of the mentors that I've had. I've had so many women that have been mentors to me. Just starting from people that helped me break those addiction cycles, into when in 2013 was when I got divorced and started working full time, and I had my aesthetics mentor, and she said, I want you to come work with me. I don't want you to work for me. I'm going to teach you how to have your own business. And at the same time, another mentor that I had was, and I was really, really close to, her business was called Ladies Who Launch, and she helped women entrepreneurs start their own businesses. So I had these two, I was just surrounded with these women that were lifting me up and teaching me how to have my own business. When in the past, I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom. I never imagined having my own business and working for myself. So that mentorship there was huge. And I mean, because they were there really holding my hand saying, this is the next step, this is the next step. And so they were tremendous. And I've had just one after another. And then when I entered the coaching world and the coaching arena, I have and continue to have my own, life coaches, business coaches that are mentors, and I think it's so important because a mentor can hold you accountable. They see a bigger version, or a better, more beautiful life for yourself than what you can see. Like they see a bigger picture. They're able to hold space for you to sort of talk things through, because everybody's unique. The answers are always inside of us, whatever our answers are. But having a mentor there to hold that space, to hold you accountable, to sort of guide you on the path where they might just be 2 steps ahead of you. I think having a mentor is something that I will always have, and I'm so grateful that I've had up to this point.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and this is like a question that I've been asking a lot of my guests. I think it's important for everybody that is listening that, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to do it yourself, but I do feel that's at times a lonely path, and a very long one, versus having like some mentors that will facilitate tools and help you out and help you grow faster and in whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they can really get you from A to Z so much quicker, rather than, which I feel like when I was trying to do things on my own, that's when I was really stumbling and falling and stumbling and falling and
Yeah.
and they're really there just to when you like can't see or remember who yourself, and it's like they're there just to remind you. And I think they come in all shapes and sizes and
Yes.
all, they show up at different times, but I believe that they are put in front of you, and there's a connection that you'll feel when the right mentor comes along.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about mentors, I know some of our first mentors in life, whether we like them or not, or appreciate what they're teaching us or not, it's our parents and our family in general. Do you think knowing where our parents are coming from and our great grandparents, what they, where they're coming from, their stories, how important do you think it's for us, for oneself, to know some of the stories of our parents and great grandparents, and for the people that's lucky enough to know their great grandparents' stories and what they've done or what they're coming from or who they were?
I think it's really, I think it's a gift really to get to know that, and it gives us that insight into the person. And rather than seeing them, I feel like sometimes seeing them in the role of mom and dad sometimes can limit your vision, and like of not seeing them as a whole person, but
Yeah.
realizing where they're coming from, the way they were raised, or where they, their circumstances, they're whole people too. especially the older that I get, I mean, I don't feel any older. I still feel just always like that little girl. I feel, but having lived this 40 years of experience, and that
Mhm.
your parents, my parents, what used to saying, like, we still feel like we're so young. And and as a kid, I would be like, you're not. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, but they are, and they're definitely your first mentors. I mean, you're right, like them or not. Luckily, I was blessed with, wonderful parents. Not always, nothing was perfect, of course,
Right.
but you know, I'm I'm really grateful, and they're still alive and still together for 42 years. So
That's definitely a blessing for sure.
yeah.
What do you expect now that your mom, you have a kid? Uh, what will you pass down to your kid, and from everything that you have learned now, and that you're in a different path of healing and success and live your higher life?
I think my purpose here is really to teach my children, and as well as other women, really how to receive love and how to love unconditionally. And that's the main lesson. I feel like is the most important lesson, because love can open up. I mean, can heal. Love can do anything.
Yeah. Do you think you encounter struggle different?
Do what? Sorry.
Do you think you encountered your struggles differently? Like, you see, when you get the struggles now, you're now like, okay, now I'm defeated. Now you
Oh yeah, that's yes. I know, whenever I am going through something, which happens all the time, it's just that knowing, like, okay, this too shall pass. I mean, it might pass like a kidney stone, it this
Yes.
might not be a fun, smooth ride,
Yeah.
but there is a solution, and it will pass. I don't have that defeatist mindset. Um, I and I don't try to get through things by myself. I immediately, I feel like when I share my problem with somebody, with a mentor, with, when I get it out, that it loses half of its power. And it's really all, so there's so much in reclaiming your power and owning up. And if I'm part of the problem, owning up to the part of the problem that that I have caused, and being able to work through a solution that way. So it's so much quicker. It doesn't have to be, you know, a long drawn out process. I mean, it takes what it takes. Um, but working through that is, I'm definitely a lot more empowered going through struggles today.
I like that. I like that. It takes what it takes. I think we all get too hung up on, like, this is never gonna end.
It can
and,
feel that way
and it
though.
feels that
No,
way.
it
Yes.
really can. But that's where that this too shall pass. Like,
Yeah.
the happy moment, and remembering, the happy moments do too. So celebrating those wins and being
Mm,
planted where your feet are and in the moment, and really celebrating the happy moments, because there's always the duality, and
mm,
having the happy moments makes you know that there's other happy moments on the side when you're in the dark and you're figuring out how to get through the next struggle.
Yeah, for sure. Um, we do hang up, we do get too hung up on the bad moments, and you're right. I think we easily forget that, those amazing times, even just the little things, like amazing food,
Mhm.
amazing days that we go through, and we just have these like little, it's easier for humans just to hang up on this negative circle. This is not good, today was not good, this was
Mhm.
not good, blah blah blah. But yeah, that's like an amazing point that you make. um Appreciating those and treasuring those really good moments, I think that's also what gives us the power to continue on our path.
Absolutely. I have a life coach, and she really taught me to celebrate my wins. And like we would go to the dollar store or like Party City and get like kazoos or like little colorful poppers or like so in really small but meaningful ways. Like, okay, so when you achieve this goal, like how are you going to celebrate? And when we did that, I looked back on the first month that I was doing that, and I was like, oh my God, I had so many wins this month. It was the most colorful, silliest month. And it just really made me appreciate the journey so much more, because it's easy to get caught up in like these things are always happening to me or whatever.
Yeah. Hmm.
And when we tell ourselves that, then that becomes our reality. And when you're celebrating all the time, you're calling in more reasons to celebrate.
Yeah, that is really really cool. We should definitely all do that. Because I think that, as you said, that month you had so many wins, but if you would have not celebrated them, you would have probably forgot about them.
Right.
And I
Because
think, yeah.
it's just that you get that 16 seconds of I win, but then if you do something to mark the occasion, then um then you'll remember it.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. And I love everything that we've been talking about today. Thank you for sharing part of your story. It's so powerful, especially for women and men that probably that also go through addiction problems and eating disorders and all that. Thank you for sharing. We were talking of camera about how like uh, we are so ashamed to talking about our stories sometimes, but in reality, by talking our stories and sharing what we go through, help others to also feel seen and to know that they're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone, and you're not the first person to go through that struggle. And there is a solution, and there is somebody who's ready with their hand out. All you have to do is ask.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything that you would like to tell us today? Any tips for anyone that's in this journey of healing and their path to success?
Um, I mean, I just want you to know that the power lies within you, and all you have to do to tap into that is just ask and just know, and set your intentions and set your sights on the win. Because, what by doing that, you're going to achieve it. There is when the word decision, the Latin word, uh, means to cut. And so when you make the decision to reach a goal or to go to heal a certain thing, then you're actually cutting away all of the other options, like no longer making them available. And by zooming in and really focusing on that goal, then you can achieve it as long as you don't lose sight of it. And you can do simple things like mirror work, look yourself in the eyes and just say, I finish what I start. And little daily mantras like that, that will keep you in your power and not getting caught up, because just don't give up. There is a solution and you can find it.
That was awesome. Dropping the mic right there. No, thank you. Thank you so much. If anyone wants to get some healing work from you, or they just want to connect with you, where can they find you?
So I am on Facebook and Instagram. If you type in Elizabeth Knittel, that pops up, but my Instagram handle is at run.love.restore. Also, I have a website that's www.pureloveandbeauty, all spelled out, .com. And I will give you those so that you can put them in the show notes.
Yes.
I also do have a Facebook community called the Inspired and Abundant Feminine Collective. And so that's where I do a lot of my free master classes, and it's a beautiful, wonderful community.
That's awesome. Yeah, we will put all that information in the show notes for sure, so they can connect with you. And if anyone wants to know more about my show, you can always reach me at alexvalgood.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And for all of you to remember, my book, Parents Are Greatest Teachers, is available on Amazon. You guys can go grab a copy, read the book, leave me a review on Amazon. And if you have any questions or you want to talk about your stories, DM me too, and let's connect. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you. And for everyone, have a blessed day. Thank you.